What's shaking, RB?
Yo! I'm shaking, AC. You caught me off guard there.
I know you were not ready, were you?
No.
Are you ready to rant?
Yeah, I am now.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So then let's rant.
All right. I want to tell you something super exciting that I did the other day, and I think it's so important for anyone that listens to us to kind of hear this.
Okay.
You want to hear about it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did this presentation with the Canadian Franchise Association. It was a franchisor success story, and I focused on the three of the mistakes that franchisors could make. I mean, there's lots of mistakes, of course, but
not that you made.
Not that I made. No,
because you didn't make any.
Never make mistakes.
Yeah. So that most franchisors make.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so I want to share them with everyone, including you.
Okay. So that if there's any like early stage franchisors listening and they want to avoid those mistakes,
they can.
So listen in, you guys.
Yeah.
And one thing I'll say, Laura Coe from Snapology, I love that line. I think you've heard me say this, but when we were on that panel, you were there, I think I was on this panel with her, and she's like, I 100% sat in your shoes, you emerging franchisors in the room. This was at Springboard a year ago. I was 100% in your shoes, and I 100% thought I was going to go do it, but then I 100% decided I was going to do it different and better. And then she wished she had listened from the beginning. So listen up, little.
Okay, listen up.
Okay. What are we counting down? 3, 2, 1, or just telling them?
I'll just go for it. Okay.
Yeah, so number one.
Number one is financial irresponsibility. That's what I tagged it up for. So spending money on the wrong things right up front that you don't need to spend money on, like overpaying for a massive franchise manual when you don't need a full franchise manual to begin with, just non-negotiable things. Blowing money on poor quality or cheap professionals, lawyers, accountants, franchise factories, anyone who's there to support you and help you. You're hiring the cheap ones. Overpaying. Yep. Question.
Mr. Bruski, I have a question. Portals and trade shows when you're really not ready for it.
Yeah, that was on the list there as well. It's one thing.
Did I get an A+ on my my participation?
A+ with a gold star. What?
Okay.
High five.
All right.
Okay. So financially responsibility. Okay. And that includes that. It's one thing to be financially prepared, but it's another thing to spend your money in the right places. Just because you got it doesn't mean you should run amok and spend it everywhere.
I feel like this might be a whole other rant where we should talk about why that happens. Because I don't think it's the early franchisors' fault. I think that's an industry challenge that we sometimes face. But let's park that for now.
Okay. All right. The second one, number 2, has to do with your early franchisees, bringing on the wrong franchisees. So setting up
Maybe you should get some booze.
Yeah,
some wine.
Setting up a poor vetting system, not watching for red flags, bringing on the wrong franchisees that don't have the right DNA of a franchisee, and even overselling your original opportunity because you as a franchisor may feel insecure or need that franchise fee dollars, and setting the incorrect expectations with those first couple dozen franchisees.
Okay, you're passing my test. Number 3.
Okay, and number 3 is misunderstanding and or not deploying the difference between support and active coaching. Okay, so a lot of franchisors will create support systems, help manuals, troubleshooting manuals, training videos. They'll have a hotline. This is all support. And they very frequently think, we've given them so much support, why can't they do this? But there's a whole other world of active coaching, which has flexibility in the subjects. It's a method of accountability. It's hyper-focused. And the franchisees and even the franchisors need an active coach. And it's got to be a third-party coach, not internal. Did I pass?
I feel like a proud mama. I feel like I've gotten through to you. I feel like I'm trying to take the credit for this, but I'm not, because you went through some, maybe just a little bit, some of this stuff, right? And let's talk about that for a minute, why that happens. Because like the financial irresponsibility, like I would kind of challenge you a little bit on using the word irresponsibility. Like it's like misspending, but I don't necessarily think it's the franchisor's fault. So let's talk about why that happens. Number two was
the wrong franchisees.
Yeah. Why does that happen? And then number three
Is the support versus coaching.
Why does that happen? So yeah. I don't know how much time we'll have. Maybe just talk about one, or in general, why does this stuff happen?
Yeah, I think there's a pretty easy reasoning why this happens. And for all of you entrepreneurs and small business owners and franchisors out there, please do not hate me for saying this, but I feel like this is probably the most common thing. And it has to do with the nature of the personality of a small business or entrepreneur. You know, you have grit, you have hustle, you have resilience, you've built this business, you've gone through the trenches, and presumably it's become a success. And that's what's sort of giving you the inclination that maybe you should franchise. And as a result, you kind of almost develop an ego and you believe, I did this. Look at everything I went through. I know what I'm talking about. I'm in the minority of people that can create a business and make it successful. I can figure out franchising, you know, and then they just go down that path and may not realize that this is not necessarily applying the same knowledge and skills that you used as a small business or one unit business owner.
Yeah. I would like to add in, if I may, that the suppliers are all vying for business from these franchisors, and they truly believe, like, you know, if you're in the business of hosting trade shows, you know, you believe that this is a good thing for your clients or prospective client, for franchisors. On that note, like, it may be good if the franchisor is really well capitalized, which is like 99% not usually the case.
Yeah.
So that's what I found is, like, I do want to see franchisors more capitalized if they're going to franchise, but they usually aren't and don't know that. And they've already started, and it's like, okay, well then let's be more responsible with our spending. But they get, you know, all these like vendors coming at them going, making them these promises that if you do this, you know, and then and again, not to put down my fellow vendors or things, but like, that's where it's like, you being strategic. If you at the early stage really understood all the options out there and could maybe like have them all say, here's my pitch why you should use me, and then you could have filtered through that. But that doesn't happen like that. And you just kind of, oh, well, franchisors go to trade shows, franchisors use portals, franchisors spend 10 grand a month on marketing, you know, they spend 25 grand to have a good operations manual. I guess I have to do that. That's what you do.
Yep.
And those things aren't necessarily what you do right at the beginning.
Yeah, you need to have a good foundation even before you bring on any vendor, right? If you're speaking to a marketing agency that specializes in digital marketing, like Facebook. I know. There's a glitch in the matrix right now.
Yeah. With the internet.
Yeah. If they specialize in digital marketing and they're going to run your Facebook campaign, you'll hire them and they'll run your Facebook campaign. But if you haven't laid out the groundwork to know what your voice should be like in your Facebook campaign, have all of the assets, know your target market, all that sort of stuff, then the output that this marketing agency is going to give you is not going to be fantastic. So you need to make sure you have all of that outlined first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So those are some things. And then the vetting, I think it all comes down to like franchising a business. As we always say, it's like a whole other business, and you might be really good at that first business, but this is all new, and you've got to let go of your ego a little bit. I think let go of your ego, but also, you know, really watch out for, like, think through where you're putting your hard-earned dollars.
Yeah.
Right.
And entrepreneurs and founders and CEOs, they're different people. Not everyone has the personality traits that are all three of those jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And most of them have a lot of confidence, and yeah, it gets, anyway, you know, that's another whole rant. I think this is like a series. It's like to be continued, because I think we should talk about that feeling where you go through knowing a lot about your business and then you become a franchise. And
we'll do that at a different time, because right now we don't have any more time left.
Because we got to go 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Go
be awesome.